We can now go on to step 3 for the procedure. And step 3 requires the development of information exchanges, where you develop the information content, the level of detail, and the responsible parties, okay, for each exchange of information. For example, part of the workflow for BIM users in this VDC project requires the design authoring, let's say from the architects, okay, the model to be linked with the design coordination model, for example, and the energy model, and finally from the design coordination model to be linked with the record this model. So in order for the information to travel, okay, after the architect has done his initial or his final design to both these two BIM users, the information exchange needs to be effected. So what I'm saying is that when the architect is doing his design, maybe he's using say Revit, okay, or Autodesk Revit to do the architectural design. So the output of the model, okay, after he has done the design will be, how to say, specific to the Autodesk Revit. And if he were to just pass that model in the electronical file to this design coordination person, the file may not be able to be read by the software that is doing the design coordination, because the design coordination may not be done using this software platform called Autodesk Revit. Let's say in the design coordination, there is a need to do a bit of structural design, and the contractor is using, let's say, a software called StepPro. Okay, StepPro to do the design. So the file in Revit format will not be readable to the software, okay, called StepPro. So what happens is that we normally will require, okay, whatever platform that the design is coming from, it must be converted when we have the output. It must be converted into this format called the IFC format. IFC stands for Industry Foundation Classes. Okay, so if this design platform or whatever BIM this modern platform, okay, is able to give the output in a form of IFC format, it will allow the information to be fully uploaded as an input into the next particular software platform. Okay, and the output for this software platform also needs to be in IFC format, or at least compatible with the next model, so that it can serve as the input into the next model. Okay, so it's complicated in a sense that when we are running this VDC this project or BIM project, the different trades or the different stakeholders they use different softwares, okay, for their different needs. There is no universal one software that can do everything, unfortunately. So that's why there is a need to have a system to exchange the information when it is passed through from one software to another software. Okay, so one of the ways that we need to do that is to get the output and input to be in a form of .ifc the extension, okay, or .ifc. All right, so that will allow the information to be read and understood by the different software. Also, that is the important aspect. So in a sense, if during the different steps, okay, or the stakeholder found out that one of the particular software, the platform, the output is not compatible, it doesn't come out in the .ifc format, then at least they know that that is going to create a problem downstream, because whatever model that is being worked on, the output will not be understood by the downstream models or the downstream platforms that is going to use that information from the model. So they then need to go and figure out how to then do a conversion. Okay, you can try to find a macro or an app to try to convert the information into the .ifc extension. Okay, if you cannot, then there is a possibility that perhaps we do not use that particular software platform to do that particular, the BIM use. Okay, so that is something that is very critical, very critical. So the procedure for creating the information exchange requirement is to identify each potential information exchange from the process map. Okay, then choose a model element breakdown structure for the project. Identify the information requirements for each exchange in terms of the input and output. In this case, we are not just looking solely at the extension of the input file and the output file. There will be more things that we need to look at, which I'll show you in the next slide. Okay, and we assign responsible parties to alter the information required. Okay, and we compare the input versus the output. So that is all done under this step 3. And like I say, it may not be completed within one session of the meeting. Okay, there could be many meetings that is held throughout the different phases of the project. Okay, to continue the conversation in terms of developing the information exchanges along the way, because things change. Okay, different softwares are used for whatever reason along the way. Okay, so it will not just be one meeting. Okay, it will not just be one meeting. So as mentioned, not only do we want to look into the format of the files as an input or as an output into the various platform. Okay, we also look at the level of detail in the information, as well as the identifying the party that is responsible for supplying or taking this information. Okay, so the detail of level of the information, typically we can break it down into say 3 levels. Okay, level C is the most general. Okay, look at the just schematic size and location. Level B will be more specific. You are looking at the general size and location, including parameter data. And level A is the most detailed, where you want to know accurately where is the location, what is the size. Okay, it will include the materials and the object parameters. Yeah, and responsible parties, you can have a different type of a legend. For example, A is for architect, this CON is for contractor, civil engineer is a C, so and so forth. Okay, then after that, you can then put it into a tabular manner. Okay, where, for example, the exterior enclosure, for example. So exterior enclosure will include the facade wall, maybe the external windows and doors and all that. So there will be different so-called information exchange stages. So maybe during the design, okay, the design stage, okay, the exterior so-called walls, okay, the information, okay, that is needed is at level B, okay, and the responsible party will be say the architect, for example. Okay, all right. But by the time it goes to the 3D coordination, this model, for example, okay, the information needed, okay, then gets upgraded, okay, to become level A. Because if you are doing coordination, you need to know accurately and exactly where is the particular component. All right. So then everybody can see, who is responsible to do what. All right. So that is the intent of this information exchange, in this case a worksheet that is in the step 3. Okay, you develop a way to talk about how to exchange the information, or how the information is going to evolve from the different stages through the different BIM models or the BIM users. Okay, so that is stage 3. And then we go on to the 4th step, step 4 of the procedure, which is to define the supporting infrastructure for the implementation of this building information modeling process throughout the whole construction phases. Okay, we define the project infrastructure required to support, okay, the developed BIM process that we have created from step 1 to step 2 to step 3. Okay, So that includes, for example, the delivery strategy, the contract strategy, communication procedure, what are the the type of design platform or coordination tools platform that we need. How do we ensure quality of the different models when it's handed over by the different users, so on and so forth. So typically, the step 4 will cover all these 14 areas, and we'll go through these 14 areas in a little bit more detail, starting with the first one, the BEAM. Okay, this project execution plan overview. All right, let's look at that. So that overview includes putting down, okay, the fact that the different stakeholders they understood the importance of this BEAM project execution plan, okay, and it includes information such as the BEAM mission statement and this information at a summary level. Okay, the purpose is to establish the importance of the plan and get buy-in from all the different stakeholders. Okay, so that is the first part. Okay, under this step 4. Then in the step 4, okay, the part 2, we will then put in the project information. Okay, so we will put in, for example, the project owner, project name, location, address, the type of this contract, the delivery method, okay, the project description, the BIM process design, project number, so on and so forth. Now all these are inside the written document in a sense. Okay, also the project information. Okay, that is the second step. Okay, in part 4, and we will clearly define the contractual relationship between the different stakeholders in the project, so that everybody knows clearly what is their role and responsibilities, okay, in the particular project. Okay, so in any project there will obviously be owners, and there will be different types of designers, okay, different trades, different consultants. Okay, they could be more than one contractors depending on the contracting system. There will definitely be a lot of subcontractors. There will be a lot of manufacturers and suppliers. So the key thing is to clearly define, okay, in the project, who is serving as, for example, the project manager or project managers in which particular area, in which particular phase of the project. Who will be appointed, okay, among all these stakeholders as the BIM manager or managers in which phase at which particular location. Who will be designated as the discipline lead. Who will be the superintendent or other major project role, so that everybody knows, okay, who is responsible for what, and they will know who to approach for information, okay, or for guidance. Okay, that is very important. Yeah, so we call it the key project context. So we will also clearly write down, okay, how we go about the finalizing and deciding on the BIM goals and the BIM users okay. So documents the steps in the BIM this project execution plan processes. Okay, document the underlying purpose for the BIM implementation. Explain why key BIM users, okay, decision were made, and then we include the list of the BIM goals, BIM use analysis worksheet, which just now was shown to you, okay, and the specific information on the BIM use that is selected. Okay, so that is under this particular step, okay, in this step 4. We will also define the roles and responsibility for each organization. For each one of the BIM use, for example, is a 4D modeling, or it is this coordination model. Okay, we need to identify the organization and the staff that is responsible, okay, including the number of personnel to complete the BIM use, okay, the estimated workers hours, primary location for the staff that is performing this particular BIM use, okay, and the lead organization context, okay, for this particular BIM use.